For a long time, its wills left behind by loved ones must be obeyed and carried out. As stated, it is exceedingly meaningful to fulfill the last wishes of a deceased loved one. Yet King Charles and Camilla refused to carry out. This will be resulting in Prince William pleading for his late grandmother's wishes to be carried out. What does this will stipulate that it scares the King and Queen so much that he refuses to obey? Let us find out the will controversy. The year 2022 ended on a sorrowful note as the beloved matriarch of a nation, Queen Elizabeth II, passed away, leaving behind a remarkable legacy and a great responsibility for her family. During her 70-year reign over England, she not only led the nation, but also transformed lives. Even after her passing, her vision for the future remained intact, though her will was sealed immediately in accordance with royal tradition spanning over 2 centuries. Queen Elizabeth's passing may have come as a shock to many, but she left this world peacefully, without suffering. Few were aware of her final moments on September 8th, and it wasn't until later that day that the news was publicly announced. Just 2 days prior, with her signature warm smile, she had appointed her 15th and final British Prime Minister, Liz Truss. However, on September 7th, concerns arose when the Queen postponed a virtual Privy Council meeting on the advice of her doctors. Cabinet Secretary Simon Case was informed that her condition could deteriorate rapidly, and he relayed this to Truss, who had just taken office as Prime Minister. Hopes remained high that the Queen would pull through, but early on September 8th, the departure of a royal helicopter before 7 o'clock a.m. signalled urgency. It transported the Prince of Wales from Dumfries House to Balmoral, where he arrived shortly before 10 o'clock a.m. The Duchess of Cornwall, as well as Princess Anne, who was already in Scotland for engagements, joined him at the Queen's bedside. Meanwhile, government officials, including Truss, were alerted that the situation was critical. As preparations unfolded behind the scenes, the first public signs of concern emerged in the House of Commons, where the Queen is rarely mentioned in debates. A note passed to the Prime Minister and other ministers at noon hinted at the gravity of the situation. Buckingham Palace soon issued an official statement about the Queen's declining health, leading to the cancellation of diplomatic meetings and growing unease. By 6:30 p.m, the world was officially informed of her passing, though her death certificate later confirmed she had passed away at 3:10 p.m. that afternoon. Sadly, Prince William, Prince Harry, and some other royal family members did not arrive in time to say their final goodbyes. However, most of the family was informed of her passing before the public announcement, except for Prince Harry, who could not be reached before the news broke. The Queen's funeral procession spanned 11 days, with hundreds of thousands of mourners paying their respects as she lay in state. Following a committal service at St. George's Chapel in Windsor Castle, she was laid to rest alongside her late husband, Prince Philip, in the King George VI Memorial Chapel on September 19, 2020. 22. Following the Queen's passing, a new monarch took the throne, King Charles III. His life had long been under media scrutiny, especially his marriage to Princess Diana. Diana came from a noble family with close ties to the royal household, making their union unsurprising to many. She became engaged to Charles at the age of 20 and moved into Buckingham Palace before their wedding at St. Paul's Cathedral. The ceremony, widely described as a fairy tale wedding, was watched by an estimated 750 million viewers worldwide, with 600,000 people lining the streets to catch a glimpse of the couple. Diana was warmly welcomed into the royal family, with Queen Elizabeth II offering her significant symbols of royal status, including the Queen Mary's Lover's Knot tiara and the Royal Family Order of Elizabeth II. However, despite these honours, Diana often felt lonely in her marriage, as Charles seemed distant and uninterested. Even during her first pregnancy, she struggled with the feeling that he was not truly in love with her. During her first pregnancy, Princess Diana struggled with feelings of inadequacy, leading her to intentionally throw herself down a staircase. Fortunately, the unborn child was unharmed, and in 1982, she gave birth to her first son, Prince William. Following the birth, Diana suffered from postpartum depression, which was compounded by intense media scrutiny. Despite these challenges, She took baby William on her first major tours of Australia and New Zealand, which were widely praised. 2 years later, she gave birth to her second son, Prince Harry. Unlike her first pregnancy, her relationship with Prince Charles appeared closer during this time. Determined to give her children a broader perspective on life beyond the royal palace, Diana ensured they experienced the world outside of privilege. She personally selected their names, dismissed the royal family's chosen nanny in favour of one of her choosing, and took an active role in their upbringing. Diana also chose their schools, outfits, and daily activities, making it a priority to take them to school herself whenever possible. She even adjusted her royal duties to align with their schedules. Diana affectionately described Harry as naughty, just like me, while referring to William as my little wise old man, whom she began relying on as a confidant during his early teenage years. However, by this time, the cracks in her marriage with Prince Charles had become evident. Their incompatibility and age difference strained their relationship, and by 1986, Diana had begun an affair with James Hewitt, a riding instructor. Meanwhile, Prince Charles rekindled his long-standing relationship with Camilla Shand. Their marriage continued to deteriorate, marked by emotional distance and public tension. Both Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip were disappointed by their extramarital affairs and made efforts to mend their relationship, but their attempts were unsuccessful. Over the years, Charles and Diana grew more estranged and resentful toward each other. A decade later, they finalized their divorce. Tragically, just 1 year after their separation, Princess Diana lost her life in a car accident. Prince Charles faced immense public criticism throughout this scandal, which only intensified following Diana's death. However, over time, the backlash subsided. In 2005, Charles proposed to Camilla Parker Bowles, formerly Camilla Shand, the woman with whom he had once had an affair. Their engagement announcement was met with overwhelming disapproval, as many still associated Camilla with the heartbreak Diana endured. The royal family did not fully support the marriage, so the wedding was held as a civil ceremony at St. George's Chapel rather than a traditional royal wedding. Neither Queen Elizabeth nor Camilla's parents attended, though the Queen later hosted a reception for them at Windsor Castle. Upon their marriage, Camilla was given the title Duchess of Cornwall instead of the expected title Princess of Wales, out of respect for Diana's legacy. Although Queen Elizabeth extended certain honours to Camilla, such as lending her the Greville tiara, she was not fully embraced by the royal family's inner circle. Following Queen Elizabeth's passing in 2022, King Charles ascended to the throne, and Camilla was given the title of Queen Consort. However, her attempts to be recognised simply as Queen were met with resistance, particularly from senior royals like Prince William and Princess Anne, who never fully accepted her into the family. By contrast, Kate Middleton, who married Prince William, was warmly embraced by both the royal family and the public. Upon her marriage to William, the newly titled Prince of Wales, she was officially named Princess of Wales. Although Kate and Camilla are not particularly close, they maintain a civil relationship. Loved for her grace, charitable work, and poise, Kate has earned widespread admiration, often being compared to Diana. Even as Queen Consort, Camilla's status is overshadowed by the immense popularity of the Princess of Wales. This contrast has also strengthened Prince William's public standing, at times surpassing that of his father, King Charles III. In a dramatic twist behind the regal facade of King Charles III's coronation, Princess Anne has revealed details of a heated argument between Charles and Queen Camilla. The dispute, rooted in contrasting visions for the ceremony, has left royal insiders stunned and sparked controversy over the balance of tradition and modernity within the monarchy. The friction reportedly began when King Charles expressed his determination to scale back the lavishness of the coronation. As part of his vision for a modern monarchy, Charles advocated cost-saving measures such as a smaller guest list, fewer floral arrangements, and a shorter procession route for the Golden State carriage. This pared-down approach, intended to align the monarchy with contemporary economic challenges, stood in stark contrast to Camilla's desires for a grand and opulent affair. For Camilla, the coronation represented more than a royal duty. It symbolised her hard-fought acceptance into the royal family. Having endured decades of public scrutiny and criticism before becoming queen, Camilla reportedly viewed the event as her moment to shine. Sources close to the Queen say she envisioned an elaborate celebration steeped in the regal splendour traditionally associated with such occasions. Camilla saw the coronation as a culmination of her journey within the royal family, one insider shared. She believed anything less than a grand spectacle would diminish the significance of the day. The disagreement reached a boiling point during a private discussion between Charles and Camilla. According to Princess Anne's candid revelation, Charles reportedly snapped at Camilla, declaring, "You're not the main character." This remark reflected the king's frustration with what he perceived as Camilla's excessive demands. Charles's commitment to a scaled-down coronation was rooted in a desire to reflect the changing times and project a more relatable image of the monarchy. However, Camilla's insistence on maintaining traditional grandeur led to tension, with the Queen expressing concerns that reducing the pageantry would diminish the ceremony's historical weight. Adding fuel to the fire, Camilla reportedly made an unusual request that female family members refrain from wearing crowns on Coronation Day. Her intention, according to Princess Anne, was to ensure that no one stole the spotlight from her during the ceremony. This bold move sparked whispers of discontent among the royals, with some questioning whether Camilla's concerns about her moment in the spotlight outweighed the broader significance of the day. In a show of quiet defiance, Princess Anne chose not to bow to Camilla's request. Instead, she donned her military uniform and rode horseback during the coronation procession, flanked by a powerful contingent of the armed forces. Cameras captured Anne's commanding presence, earning her widespread praise from fans for her strength and independence. This striking image of Anne's defiance reportedly left Camilla furious, though the Queen was ultimately unable to challenge the Princess Royal's decision. Anne's bold move became a standout moment of the day, highlighting her resilience and dedication to duty and underscoring her position as one of the monarchy's most respected figures. Princess Anne's revelation has cast a spotlight on underlying tensions within the royal family, raising questions about the balance of power and priorities. While King Charles and Camilla ultimately navigated the challenges to deliver a memorable coronation, the drama behind the scenes has reignited debate over the monarchy's place in modern society. Supporters of Charles's vision argue that the scaled-back coronation reflected a thoughtful response to contemporary realities. The king is trying to modernise the monarchy while respecting its traditions, a royal commentator observed. With Princess Catherine by his side, William has become an increasingly prominent figure in shaping the future of the monarchy, often sidelining Queen Camilla in the process. William's vision for a slimmed-down monarchy has been well received by the public, but for Camilla, it has been a bitter pill to swallow. Since marrying Charles in 2005, Camilla has worked tirelessly to rehabilitate her image and establish her place in the royal hierarchy.